Hi everybody, and welcome to this summer's Geology 105 class, the online oceanography class at San Jose State. Well, let me welcome you to the class, and I hope you enjoy working with me to learn about the oceans. Now let me tell you a few things about Geology 105 and this online class. First of all, and most importantly, it's a class in the Area R category of SJSU Studies, the general education program at San Jose State. Area R fulfills the Earth and Environment requirement. And in that category, the university asks us to work with students to obtain 3 required learning outcomes. And they are, number 1, students are to understand the methods and limits of scientific investigation. We'll work on that one in the first week of the class as we explore the issue of marine fisheries. In other words, the status of fish stocks in the ocean and how science can contribute to that discussion. Second, the second required learning outcome. Students are to understand and distinguish between science and pseudoscience. Once again, we'll address that in this class as well in our second week, where we begin to look at what constitutes science and what characterizes this thing called pseudoscience, or practices that disguise themselves as science but don't follow the scientific method. And lastly, required learning outcome number 3, that students are to apply a scientific approach to problems of the earth and environment. And we'll do that throughout this entire class, and especially in the last 3 weeks of the class. And the way we do that is that in this class, you are the scientist. You are the research oceanographer. As you explore the oceans and join me in participating in a series of virtual research expeditions to explore our oceans, both here along California in our beautiful coastline and offshore areas, but also globally, because the two are highly intertwined. Processes that affect the global ocean also affect our local coastal ocean. Now let me tell you a little bit about the summer session if you haven't been in a class in summer before. First of all, it's a highly compressed session. Classes last only 5 weeks. That is less than 1/3 of a normal academic semester. Consequently, there's a tremendous amount of work to do each week. In fact, it's as if you were taking 3 classes because you're working in such a compressed time frame. So that 1 class in a summer session over that 5 weeks would be the same amount of work as 3 classes in a normal academic fall or spring semester session. So please be aware of the amount of work that's required to fulfill those learning outcomes. Now let me tell you how our learning is arranged. I already mentioned that you are the research oceanographer in the class, pursuing knowledge on the ocean. But what we have each week are what I call expeditions. These are exercises in which you are the research scientist acquiring data, analyzing data, and interpreting data about major problems that influence our oceans, whether they are environmental problems caused by human activities, or whether they're just sheer mysteries of the ocean as we explore and gain knowledge about this body that covers nearly 70% of our Earth's surface. These expeditions, of which there will be anywhere from 3 to 5 each week during this class, will carry you through a series of interconnected web pages that contain audio, video, text, graphics, animations, a whole series of media to help you learn the concepts in this class so that you can meet those required learning outcomes. We'll have a course workbook, or what's often called a course reader, which you can obtain from AS Print Shop on campus, a hard copy. That course workbook, or that reader, allows you to take notes on these expeditions. There are worksheets in that reader or that workbook that show you the important concepts to know from each and every expedition, so you can create a coherent set of notes that help you study for the exams and quizzes in this class, because they are open book, open note quizzes and exams. Now, these expeditions come in two forms. One form is a self-paced tutorial as you work your way through the material. Another form involves an electronic bulletin board discussion, which you'll participate with fellow students in your class. I will pose a question for students to discuss, and you will enter an electronic discussion and write about your knowledge as gained through this course and as represented by science on that particular subject. Now, those discussions are worth points, so do a good job. Now, the other thing in these AREAR classes is that they have a series of writing assignments, and I need to assign a portion of your grade based on those writing assignments. Because we want to, and the university believes, to not only have you learn about the material, but be able to communicate your learning in writing, not only with me, but to your fellow students. So the quality of the writing, including your grammar, your composition, your spelling, your punctuation, and your phrasing and diction will all be assessed in these writing assignments and compose a portion of your grade in this class. So your grade in this class will be directed by not only your knowledge that's gained, but your ability to communicate that knowledge in writing. Now, in terms of the reading assignments in the class, we do not have a textbook, as I want to try to minimize the costs of this class. Instead, each week I'll post articles in Desire to Learn that you'll be able to download and read. The reading assignments are very important in the class. You'll find those in the articles section of our course website in Desire to Learn. And I'll also make sure you're aware of these reading assignments via email within Desire to Learn. So make sure you do the reading assignments. They will be individual assignments that are available for download from the articles section of Desire to Learn. We also have a course workbook. You buy that at AS Print Shop on campus, as I think I already mentioned. It's roughly about $17. If you can't make it to campus to buy that particular workbook, I can send you, upon request, a PDF that you can print it out yourself. But it's 230 pages long. And so it's cheaper and faster for you to just buy it as a bound reader at AS Print Shop on campus. It'll be far more expensive to print it out yourself, and also take more time if you print out sections of it week after week after week in the class. Well, we've talked about the outcomes of this class. We've talked about the required materials for you to have. And we've talked about the framework or the format of the class, these weekly expeditions. Let's talk about the required grading assignments. First of all, early on in this class, we'll have a quiz that covers the first few expeditions or assignments in this class. This is a quiz on marine fisheries, and in particular, your knowledge as gained through the expeditions and our required reading assignments on the methods of scientific assessment of marine fish stocks. In other words, what is the status, both past, present, and as we go into the future, of marine fish stocks? That is that group of fish populations that live in regional waters that are targeted by the commercial and recreational fishing industry. That short quiz will identify the key concepts that then you'll write about in an essay. So we first do the quiz, which will help you focus your efforts on the essay that follows. We have, in addition to that essay assignment, and as I've already mentioned, we have several required discussions where you discuss topics with your fellow students in the class. And those discussions are also worth points, both for your knowledge and your contribution to that subject to your fellow students, but your ability to communicate that knowledge to other students as well. So we have a quiz, we have an essay, and we have these required discussions. generally one of those each week or so. In addition to those required discussions, we have 2 exams in this class. Exam number 1 covers expeditions 5 through 12, and once again it's an open book, open notes exam, but our website, all the expedition web pages will go away. And exam number 2 covers expeditions 13 through 19, the material on those expeditions. These are both online exams. They'll be composed of multiple choice questions to assess your knowledge and 1 essay style questions which will see if you understand the methods of science that are used to address specific questions about our oceans. We also have a final in this class. That final will be instrumental in obtaining learning outcome number 3, where students apply a scientific approach to problems of the earth and environment. In that final, you will be the scientist, where you will propose to study a subject on the ocean and how you would go about studying that particular question or hypothesis about the ocean. And lastly, there's the course workbook, which you'll be completing throughout the course as you complete the expedition worksheets each week. The course workbook, honestly, should be the easiest points you learn in the class in terms of it's based solely on did you do the work. So those are the major assignments in the class. We have the weekly work on the expeditions, we have a quiz, we have an essay, we have some electronic discussions, 2 midterm exams like you have in a normal class at San Jose State, the final, and then your course workbook. So I look forward to working with you on the class, to achieving the required learning outcomes so you can move forward to graduation and fulfill that requirement for graduation. And most importantly, for me anyway, that you learn about the beauty and majesty of our oceans and how science is used to gather knowledge to address the mysteries of the oceans as well as a series of problems that affect our oceans today, both globally and here along California. I look forward to working with you. Bye.